Sweet, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? This is Shoot the Shit podcast, and you're with Juan today. And I am here with Pedro Castro for episode 9, but it is our first episode live, so just a little disclaimer there are probably going to be technical issues. There might be a little bit of latency issues, so if you guys put a message up at a weird spot, we'll try to double back and answer it. Obviously, this is going to be a completely different experience, which I'm excited to do. To be honest, I didn't want to do this at first because, first of all, being on camera is weird. I didn't have the money for a camera, um, that kind of stuff. And I just kind of put my head around it with the whole quarantine thing going on. I've been one of those furloughed employees, so I've had a lot of my time to kind of just, really dig into stuff and just kind of have fun with it. I really love podcasting. It's been a thing. I mean, I have 8 episodes up. This is obviously the 9th, like I said earlier, and really happy to do it. It's a really unorthodox setup. I'm probably going to make a video because I think it's hilarious. My iPhone is actually my webcam right now, and it's really cool. Obviously, the quality is much better than any laptop, like, integrated one. And, I'm hoping right now, as you guys see this podcast, it does some justice. But it's really cool. Obviously, I have a condenser mic. I'm working on kind of getting all that pulled together and make better quality videos for y'all. But as you can tell, I'm using a gaming headset. This show is not necessarily serious, but full of passionate people. And again, like it's about shooting the shit. So I'm glad whoever's here watching. I appreciate you. And we're going to go ahead and get the show on the road. Again, appreciate y'all being here. And again, my guest today is Pedro Castro, and he is a producer and a current film student, if I'm not misunderstanding that.
That's correct.
And we're going to get to know him a little bit, and we're going to talk about shit that we like. And it's going to be kind of funny as we kind of get to the end of this, because everyone's going to look at me weird. But promise there's some value in this. So go ahead, Pedro. Go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself, man. Like where you come from.
Yeah, sure, man. Thank you for having me. Well, my name, like Juan said, my name is Pedro Castro. I am a senior at the University of Texas at Austin, studying film, and yeah, I'm ready to shoot the shit with Juan.
Yeah, it's such a weird. I don't even know where I came up with that name, if I'm being really honest. Like I was just like, I'm gonna shoot the shit, and I was just like, wait a minute.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where it's much more casual. It's not such a huge, crazy, serious thing. But everyone,
Yeah.
like on this show, as if anyone's heard, is super passionate, and that's what I love about it. It's like I'm sitting next to someone, and we're having a beer, and we're just talking about what we do and what we love, and it's super badass. But tell us a little bit more about school, man. Like, what's going on? Obviously, I know things are definitely different, but how's film school been?
Oh well, film school is a huge different, like, because film is a thing that you can learn from like different sources. I started learning about film from like watching YouTube tutorials on how to direct or how to edit, how to do visual effects. So that's why whenever I started thinking about going to college, I was like, should I? Because I can learn all this stuff from other people, from other sources. But then again, I do not remember where I heard it from. It was like, film school is not what you're going to learn about, but it's going to be about the people who you meet, like the networking you're gonna acquire from going to film school. So I ended up applying to UT. I got in. I got a scholarship, and I'm like, okay, fine. I'll go to UT. I'll go there for film school, and I've been there for 4 years now. I'm gonna graduate this May, and yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. I've been through a lot of adventures there with my friends. Good thing that a lot of my friends from Eagle Pass went to UT as well, and we've been having a hell of a time there.
I'm sure, man. That's badass. I mean, like representing Eagle Pass, like in itself. Like I don't think I've talked enough about Eagle Pass on this show. As far as like, I remember like I'm from class of 2012, and man, a lot of those people like from my class are doing like fucking big things. Like I have a lot of them on Facebook.
Mhm.
more like acquaintances at this point, right? Because you kind of just lose touch with people, but they're just doing really big things with their lives, and it's fucking cool. It's fucking cool. Like when we come from, like, I think I shared it on my page this morning about like Sic Parvis Magna and like what that means to me, because it's like what do you call it? Greatness from small beginnings, and that's where like us coming from that, it's like a big thing for us. I feel, and
Yeah, it's very inspiring. Like to have someone from a small town and making it big. It's like, oh my god, this guy made it. Then I can make it too. Like very inspiring to the people from small towns. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like it's pretty cool. I mean, did you happen to take that class with Matthew McConaughey?
I did. I did
Oh God, I gotta hear about this. I gotta hear about this.
last spring.
Oh
Last
man.
spring? Yeah, spring 2018. Yeah, it was a year ago. I did take the class. 'Cause I used to work. I used to work for the football team for the Longhorn football,
Hmm.
and I wasn't because it takes a lot of time from your schedule, so I wasn't sure I was going to be able to take it because it was a morning class. But I waited to the spring because there's spring football, which is less practices. So I'm like, I'm going to take it, even though if it messes up with the practices, I will be my boss will probably like let me skip one of the practices to go to class.
Hmm.
So I ended up taking the class, and it was just it's such a great class because it teaches you how like the process from the idea of a movie into a script
Hmm.
into the final like to the final product, which is going into theaters into the screen, and then having like an actual Oscar winner, Matthew McConaughey, be there and explain it to you is just something magnificent. It's fantastic.
That's fucking cool, man. A funny story is like I used to hate Matthew McConaughey. Like,
Why?
dude, man, all his like rom com shit was just like pissing me off. Like, he's
Hmm.
not even in that many, but like those few films that I saw him in those films, and then like shit like Sahara, like I don't know why there was something like a stigma for me where I was just like, man, I hate this guy. I don't like how he acts. I think he's just some bullshit actor or whatever. And then like that time when he won the Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club over Leonardo DiCaprio, I was pissed because I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, that whole scene with him getting all fucked up and shit, like, and that was all improv. I was like, how did they not give that to him? And then like I think maybe like a year or so later, I got sick, and I just started watching a whole bunch of movies, and that popped up, and I'm just like, oh, you know what? Fine, fuck it. Let me watch this movie, and I watch it, and dude, I'm like blown away. Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like okay, I totally get it now. Like I'm less mad about it because I still think Leo should have won that versus what he won for. I forgot that fucking movie.
Was it Wolf of Wall Street?
Not Wolf of Wall Street. The one he won an actual Oscar with. I haven't actually seen it. Um, the one where he's doing all this crazy shit as like Wilder's buddy.
Oh, The Revenant.
The Revenant. There you go. Yeah. So I haven't seen that yet. Um, really wish he won an Oscar again for that. But it was just kind of crazy to me where you know at the time. But now like I look at Matthew McConaughey and what he's done. Interstellar, like Time to Kill. I appreciate a lot of his work a lot more.
No,
And
yeah, yeah. I think I really like him in Interstellar. Interstellar is one of my favorite movies. I feel it's one of those movies that comes in a complete package with great music, a great cast, a great story, and I just love Christopher Nolan's kind of storytelling. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey is like a huge icon, kind of like a meme at UT. So I didn't really know about him, and then when I went to UT, that's when I started like liking him more, and we started watching his movies,
mhm.
and that's where I got like more excited because he was a huge deal. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be able to meet him sometime. And then I ended up meeting him at football practice one day, and then I took his class, and he went like twice, I think.
Mhm.
And then our professor like made us like make some thank you letters for him, and he was there, and he like talked to us about it and the process and what kind of stuff you want to do. And he's such a down to earth guy. I really like him as a human being and as an actor.
I'm glad. I mean, like, I would think, any star that wins an Oscar just has a huge ego, at some point. That's why, like, I think Brad Pitt winning recently, like,
Hmm.
obviously well deserved for finally for getting one for acting. Um, which again, that's probably another movie I need to watch. I haven't watched that. Just because I don't want to sit down and watch a 3-hour movie right now, even though I have the
Is
time,
that
which is funny.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I need to catch that because I'm not a huge Tarantino fan either.
Hmm.
Just because I don't like his format of how the films come out to be. Not that they're not great, because I mean I can't shit on Kill Bill or Pulp Fiction or any of that, because obviously
Hmm.
that's all great stuff. It's just not my taste. But I think obviously in this time frame I'm gonna retouch on a lot of that and just kind of explore what I like or not. But
No, yeah, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's very long. I do think it was kind of slow in the first 2 hours, but the
oh god.
payoff, but the payoff does come at the very, like in the third act of the movie. It's
Hmm.
really good. Not to spoil anything, but it's really good. It's worth watching those 2 hours.
I'm
But
sure. I mean, because like that's always feel like what his films have always been about. A lot of build up until you get to the end, and sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Like Hateful
mhm.
Eight was like an interesting one for me, because it, at least for me, it's one of his like I guess lowest rated films for me, as far as like my level of enjoyment for them. But I don't know. I'll definitely catch it because I know it definitely like the cast alone was the reason I wanted to watch it. Like Margot Robbie, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, like sold, like a million times sold. So
No, yeah, it was a great cast.
yeah, it was great stuff. I know recently you were working on a film. Um, I'm assuming that's obviously halted production at this point, or I don't,
Yes.
yeah. So how's that going, or how was it working on that as you were kind
So
of
it
working
was.
on the
It's a.
project?
We're doing this. I took this class called these. Well, let's start again. My friend asked me if I wanted to be the producer for this movie that he's been wanting to make, and I
Hmm.
asked him what it was, and he was like, "It's a western." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a huge different genre that I'm not like I haven't thought of about making." So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I sign up for the class. We do it. He shows me the script. I really like it. It does need some changes, but we can work with it because the professor was going to work with us on the script.
Hmm.
And we go in the first few weeks, we workshop the script. It changes a lot, and then we're getting ready. As a producer, I start to making all this paperwork because now that this is an official UT production, I have to get like release forms from the locations, release forms from the actors,
Yeah.
insurance, and we were going to shoot like an hour away from Boston, so we had to get some travel paperwork and insurance for the cars of people who were going to drive, and all this other paperwork. I hate it for me, but it was taking the load out of
Hmm.
the director's vision because he doesn't want to worry about paperwork. He wants to worry about the story.
Yeah. Hmm.
But at the same time, as a producer, I feel like it's your job to also be like creatively attached to the project. Like you have that choice of being able to change stuff around if you want to, or change
Hmm.
it for the purpose of being a good movie. So I did end up like writing some scenes. The director was a great collaborator, great friend of mine. He would tell me about it. I would like say yes or no, depending on what kind of budget we have or
Hmm.
if it worked or not. And we were getting ready. We were supposed to shoot April 12th to the 16th, I think. We had the location down. We had the cast. We were talking to people about donating food. But then this huge Corona pandemic happened, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not gonna shoot. We're not gonna lend you this equipment." And
Damn. Such a
we were like,
shame.
"Okay, can we like do something else? Can we shoot in the summer?" And they're like, "Maybe."
Hmm.
So we wait, and the professor tells us, "Listen, the UT system, like the system that controls all the UT University of Texas schools, they were like, yeah, no more production during the year or in the summer because we're taking the summer classes. Summer classes to online. So we were like, well, all right, well, we'll see what we can do. We still want to make the movie, but it looks pretty hard. I'm not sure because I'm graduating. The director's not graduating, but he still wants to do it, but we're not sure yet. We're just waiting to see what happens.
That's crazy. I mean, like, obviously like this pandemic has been like such a huge thing as far as like shifting the way we have to think and operate, and it just sucks for art, man. Like I know who was it? Greg Mills? um, they did a really thoughtful thing as far as like contributing to movie theaters and just overall like the film industry as far as getting them grants so they could get taken care of in this time of need,
Mhm.
because obviously everyone's out of work, especially like big productions are like that's like almost 10 to like 20,000 jobs that are just lost immediately because they stop shooting. um, but it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy to hear like all the process you pretty much had to go through. um,
No, yeah, and it's kind of sad. It's like you put all this work, and then this like thing that you were not predicting, not expecting, just comes and like ruins everything. Like not just for me, but for like all these productions and all these people.
yeah.
And it's pretty sad. It's pretty like infuriating to like experience that.
I mean, so is that the first project you worked on, as far as like this western, or you worked on other short
No,
films or anything like that?
this one was going to be like the most like official one that
Hmm.
we were going through that whole process. I my freshman year of college, I was like I wanted to make something, and I ended up telling my roommate, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And we bounced some ideas off each other. We came up with an idea, and we were like, "Yeah, let's do it." We got our friend actor. We got, and then that friend ended up uh, getting us and other actors, and then it was just my roommate and I. He was script supervisor and camera operator, cinematographer, and I was directing, and I wrote some of the script.
Hmm.
And then we shot it in 2 days during the night, and I edited together because I wanted to make sure to make the deadline for the Frontera Film Festival, which is a festival here in Eagle Pass. I wanted to submit it there,
Oh, nice.
and I edited a rough cut. I showed it to my roommate, and I think I stayed up to like 4 in the morning that night.
I'm
And
sure. Yeah.
I submitted to that festival. And it goes in, and then I searched up more festivals I wanted to submit to, and there was one in Austin called the Austin Revolution Film Festival.
Hmm.
And I did some other changes to the film, and I submitted to that festival, and it got accepted. I'm like, your movie's gonna premiere at the Alamo Draft House.
That's fucking
I
cool,
forgot,
dude.
I forgot the
That's
I
a
forgot
hype.
what it was.
That's fucking
It was
awesome.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was a really great experience to see your film at a draft house in a room full of people just watching your movie in the big screen. It
represent.
was so good. It was such a great experience, and because the festival started on Thursday and ended on Sunday, and the first 3 days it was a draft house, and the rest of the films were going to be shown at the reception at the hotel where they're going to hold the awards.
Hmm.
So I go to the film to the showing at the draft house, and then on Saturday night, no Saturday morning, it was the awards, and we ended up winning the Director's Choice Award.
Damn.
And we
That's.
were like, "Oh my god, this is like such a huge surprise," because we weren't expecting. It was just a small film. We weren't expecting to
Hmm.
like all these people like to like it and to like get all this awesome like feedback from people. And it was we were pretty blown away. And from there, myself and my roommate, who's also a filmmaker,
Hmm.
we got like super pumped. We wanted to make more stuff, and then as the years went by during college, we started making more and more projects. Um, I ended up directing some an episode for a TV show that we do for the
Hmm.
school uh, channel, and then my friend ended up working for like internship for Rooster Teeth, and so yeah, we ended up doing all these smaller projects
Hmm.
all around, and then it was all gonna lead up to this thesis film, but then it got canceled.
God, man, that's such bullshit. But that's fucking cool, though, man. Hats off to you, and obviously everyone you worked with. Because I mean, for one thing, obviously being a GM of a draft house, that's why I love what I do personally. Just because like the fact that like we're supporting local film on that level, and just to give experiences like that, like the fact that they had a festival, and it's cool that you won an award, and Are these all these films? Where can we see these actually? Because I'm super interested in watching these films,
No, yeah,
especially short films.
you can see the award-winning one, which is called "You Still Have Time." You can see it on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Pedro
Hmm.
Castro Jr.
Oh,
And
everyone follow
then
that.
I have like other smaller projects that I've done in
Hmm.
that same channel because I do like video vlogs around Austin, all the adventures we've had with my friends,
Yeah.
and, some other like smaller videos. But yeah, you can see. I try to put everything that I've done on my YouTube channel.
No, and that's cool. So I'll definitely follow that channel right after this, and I'll set up a link so everyone here could watch it
And I
too, for
recently
sure.
got 15,000 subscribers out of nowhere on
What the
my
fuck?
channel.
That's fucking
No, yeah,
crazy.
it was really crazy because I think it was back in November when
Hmm.
just started seeing the numbers going up and up, and then one of my videos went up to 4 million views out of nowhere.
What the fuck?
I
That's so
I
cool,
think
dude.
I think it's because of the thumbnail. It was kind of like clickbait,
I
but
feel that.
but the video was made like my freshman year, which is like almost 3 years ago, and it just like caught up like last year,
Hmm.
like a few months ago. So it was very crazy to see that happen.
No, it's always cool to see like people's successes grow. I always that's what's cool. Been really cool about putting people on the show is like a lot of them are local people that I've either associated myself with once or twice, or they worked for me, and like now they're well they've always been musicians, but now they've kind of been working at that, and you see their grind, and like it's fucking cool like to see them grow bigger and bigger. Like right now, like I think Justin Lawrence's is like getting really big on Instagram, and he's got like his brother like kind of making him focus on like social media, and like I just see his follower count go higher and higher and like more
Mhm.
likes, and I'm like dude, that's fucking dope. I mean, like the grind's fucking real, and to see people come out with success is always really inspiring to me, because it's just like you're just like me, trying to just, do something we love. And, just so happens people love what you're doing, and just constantly see that rise up is super badass, like I definitely, literally once we're done with this, I'm probably going to check out your movie, and just let you know how I feel about it for sure.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's fucking awesome. Um, so is there any wacky stuff that happens on set? Like, probably like, okay, I guess three questions in one: the best experience, the worst, and I guess one of the wackiest, funniest moments on set. Let's do three.
Well, that's a tough one. Well, I
Hmm.
think the best experience I've had was working with Jimmy Fallon. He
Jimmy
and he's
Fallon?
yeah,
You worked with Jimmy Fallon?
yeah.
What the fuck? That's fucking
So
cool.
he did a show from the UT campus in November,
Hmm.
and the professor that was in charge of the Matthew McConaughey course,
Hmm.
he messaged his previous students, and he was like, "Oh, listen, they're looking for extras for this production for NBC, and if you guys want to be part of it, just email this lady, and she'll get in touch with you if you get chosen." I'm like, okay. I
Hmm.
did it. I got chosen. I was I think one of the 10, and they're like, be here at this time. You're gonna be shooting for 2 days, and you're gonna be part of this like the cold open for the episode. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. We got there. It was at a bar, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be working with Jimmy Fallon. He's gonna be coming right now in a bit. We're gonna rehearse first, and then
Hmm.
he's gonna show up." So it was really fun. He was a good sport. He was just talking to us like we knew him for forever. It was such a great experience just to like be next to him and like being part of a video that has like 1 million views right now. And it's kind of like a music video that he did.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
I think that's one of the best experiences I've had
That's really
on
cool.
set.
Like, man, how the hell do you meet Jimmy Fallon and work with him? What are the odds? That's fucking awesome.
No, yeah, it was surreal. It's just like I wasn't expecting. I was getting ready to like to take an exam, and then I just get this email like, okay, I fine, I'll do it.
Hmm.
And then what was the worst experience? I don't I don't know. I've never had like very very bad experiences
Hmm.
on. I think one of the biggest problems is like I think it's part of like in from the producers kind of side where like you don't like schedule like everything right and you don't like get everything organized and then you show up, you're just waiting there for like hours until it's your turn to like perform or your turn to like do your job.
Hmm.
um I think so. That's I think one of the bigger problems I've experienced before. It's just there being there, just waiting and waiting and waiting, just because you weren't scheduled right, or just because the people there are not organized or anything.
Yeah, kind of like just like I wouldn't say professionalism, but just like the organization of it all. Like just kind of almost wasting your time. I feel like at that point
Yeah.
because it seems difficult. I mean, I guess I would feel like because like I mean every minute you're in the studio, you know, it's X amount of dollars. So I can only imagine like you know what everyone's going through to try to get this project done, but no one's cooperating with it. Or mind you, like he just didn't set it up the correct way, right? So
No, yeah, and I know it's like they're like students and they're getting to like they're starting to like the process. They're like learning the process.
mhm.
Uh, they also have to consider like everyone else is also doing their own projects and they have their own work. So yeah, I think scheduling and it's a very big part of like having a very like efficient production or
Mhm.
efficient set in order to like get everything else working.
No, I mean that's completely fair. I mean, I think that's what everyone asks for a workplace. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like typical, like hey, like, does this place have its shit together or not? You know, it's going to affect
Yeah.
whether how I operate and how you operate, right? And that's completely fair. I mean,
Another
I,
another experience I had was like
mhm,
I was part of this TV show. It premiered on Facebook Watch. It was one of those Facebook Watch shows,
mhm,
and they told us to get there at 6 a.m. I was an extra. It told us to get here 6 a.m.
mhm,
for like paperwork and stuff, and we got out. I think we got out around 7 p.m.
mhm.
and we only worked like 3 hours out of those like that time frame. Like I was able to take a 2 hour nap during takes. It's like, come on, man.
Oh shit,
Like,
that's
yeah, it
kind of
was
that's
so
kind of.
boring.
I was about to say that sucks. Like,
Yeah, we were just sitting there in the cafeteria. 'Cause we were shooting at a high school. We were just
mhm,
sitting there in the cafeteria, and we were just super tired because we didn't we didn't sleep the night before.
mhm.
So we were just there. I mean, at least they fed us, but still, it was just a long wait.
Can only imagine. I mean, like, and are those sets like huge? Like, are they massive? Is it just like kind of like a
No,
warehouse building or really
there's
tight?
no. This was we were filming in a high school cafeteria,
Oh, okay, okay.
and it was a semi big production because it's a web series, so you don't require all this like big sets or anything.
Yeah. Hmm.
But they were in official production under Facebook and under this other production company, and they had like their food trucks and they had all this like official stuff. So it was kind of surprising to see us like to see ourselves just be there waiting for a long time.
Maybe they got too big too fast in a way. They just did not organize it as well as they could have. I don't know because I don't
Yeah,
even
I
know if I ever
guess I don't know.
watched those Facebook Watch shows. I don't know. I don't even think I recall seeing any of them. Which one was this one called?
It's called Scam.
Scam. Huh.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
it was a very like popular show in some European country, and then this decided to like adapt it to American audiences, and
Huh.
it got shot in Austin. It was based in Austin, and we saw some casting calls, and we took in me and my roommate and another friend, and we went 6 a.m. Waited there for like a shit ton of hours, and I mean, at least we, like I said, at least we got fed
I mean, I feel that, man. I
and
mean,
paid. Yeah, we got paid too.
oh, you got paid? Nice. I mean,
Yeah.
that's always sweet. I know, obviously, when you start out, there's not a whole lot of that, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's pretty cool. Hell yeah. Um,
What was the other question? It was in the third part.
I think it was, you said
The most
best.
fun, I think.
Yeah, I guess the funnest set you've been on.
I think every set is fun. I think
Hmm.
being on like every single set has its own like moments where it's just like, oh, I love being a filmmaker. I love making content, making like producing media. Um, but I think Jimmy Fallon was one of the most fun experiences I've had during my 4 years in film school. Because it was just like everything's real official. We went to different places to shoot. We were on Sixth
Hmm.
Street filming with Jimmy Fallon on scooters. Like that's so wacky and so fun.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I mean, it's
And then
cool.
also like filming that TV show was really fun. Like
Hmm.
I was directing one. I edited one episode and directed another episode, and the one I directed, uh, like I got like one of the actors to put her hold hands like in its chicken. It was part of the scene, and the producers got us a chicken. We were like messing around with the chicken. It was such a really weird but fun experience.
I'm
Like
sure.
just be
I
working
mean,
with that all those like. Oh no, yeah, I've been blessed with a lot of experiences
hmm.
and like a lot of supportive people in my life with friends and family, and I'm looking forward to see what happens in the future.
Nah, man, I believe it. I mean, it's fucking cool. Like, I mean, and how old are you again, if you don't mind me asking? Like 22,
I'm
21?
22. Yeah, 22.
22. Man, your fucking career just started too, and like I can only imagine like once this whole pandemic clears up, like you're just gonna fucking soar, man, and you're gonna see all kinds of shit. And I'm looking forward to obviously connecting and seeing more of your work, definitely, and checking
For
that stuff out.
sure. I
So
love updating my Instagram on like all that stuff, all these adventures I've been to. I've been wanting to like go back to vlogging, but it's just like I don't have the time to
I
like do videos.
I can imagine like with being in school. I mean, I dropped out of school just because it wasn't for me. Like at that point, I was definitely going the route I was going as far as like the service industry. And
Hmm.
mind you, I love what I do, and taking a step back from all that, I realized like a hidden passion of just having these kind of conversations. And mind you, I just really like talking to people and just knowing what they do, and it inspires me to do more. Hence why like this went from just strictly audio to now like a live broadcast that hopefully looks decent.
Hmm.
And it's just hopefully going to get kind of bigger and bigger, and as we dive into more passions and talking to people. I mean, I think it's great. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we need too. Like, the arts have been such a blessing in my life because, man, I was a musician before all this. I always loved films before all this. Love video
Hmm.
games. Like, your typical nerd, honestly. Like, I was always a nerd. And, like, having all of us to kind of start relying on them to get us by through the day, especially now. Um, I think it's awesome. I think everyone's realizing how important it is. I hope there's never that conversation of budget cuts when it comes to the arts. And
Oh no, yeah.
because that's a big like for me, like I hope everyone starts to see like when they start choosing between buying new jerseys for a football team or getting a decent sound system for a musical theater program.
Hmm.
I really hope they're like, what, hey, like the arts are important, and they kind of shift over to that. And I hope that movement kind of starts rolling and really focusing on that, because I'm always going to be a big supporter of the arts for sure.
No, yeah, I think that the arts like just they're growing and they're inspiring, and it's like a platform for like a lot of people to like
Hmm.
showcase their passions and to showcase whatever they think. And that's what I really liked about like filmmaking, like other kind of media, because you can like show what you're thinking, you can show what you believe in, and you inspire other people to do the same thing or to like start other stuff and to like be more creative and all this other cool stuff.
No, I agree. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to me, like what the arts have done and like what I've seen in the last like I think 3 to 4 years, and like revisiting movies. I know I've talked a lot about revisiting movies at like my older, mature age, I guess I could say. I don't
Hmm.
know exactly how much more mature, but just seeing like life experiences and how they change our perspectives and how they continue to do that as we kind of keep moving along, and it's badass. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why, like, again, man, hats off to you, and I appreciate you for what you do, and again, I look forward to seeing a lot of your work as once I get off this call, and definitely sit
Thank
down
you, man. I
and watch
appreciate
your
it.
your YouTube stuff and subscribe for sure. Some good shit.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, the media's evolving, man. It's like with the streaming services, it's giving creators more and more like freedom to do whatever they want, and it's very inspiring. It's like I really hope I end up like having this creative freedom for like a bit platform where I can tell my stories and I can tell like the ideas I have in my head, and now that diversity and it's like a big talk in right now where we want to see more diverse cast, more diverse crew in the media, and because they have like stories of their own and we want to hear them.
No, I agree, man. Fuck yeah. I mean, like, I'll definitely have you back on the show. We'll talk more about stuff like that. I mean, like, I think there's so many conversations we could have about like what we think the media needs and how it could form and shape a movement for a lot of people. I mean, I remember when Rogue One came out, and it was such a big deal to see,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, a Hispanic up on screen, and like for a lot of people of our demographic, that was a big deal, especially for something being as big as Star Wars. And you know, I think that's something that like hopefully like influentially will get infectious as you know we grow and change as a nation. Um, but yeah, I could totally get behind all that, man. That's badass. I mean, and what's cool, like to be really honest, like I technically have not spent zero money on anything I have to do with what I'm doing now. It's just all been equipment I have now that I, you know, obviously spent years ago, but now I'm actually using it. You know, so I think it's great that like all streaming platforms, my podcast coming off of Anchor, that was completely free. And you know, there's definitely ways you just obviously need time because you're a busy guy working with Jimmy Fallon
No,
and shit. So
yeah, it's like you have the source, you have the resources, you have like the equipment to like do all this kind of media. You just have to like take the time and do it, get off your ass and like do it.
yeah, I mean, you'll get there, man. Once I definitely believe it once school's done with, because school is definitely like a big deal, and anyone that does it, you know, props to them, no matter what their degrees in.
You
It's a
know, yeah,
lot, no matter
especially if you're
what.
on your own. It's like you shoot it and then you have to edit it and like you want, and then at the same time the audience, your reviewers want like you to be like shitting out stuff like every like week or something. It's
Hmm.
like, come on, I need help or just give me time. I want to like produce the best thing I can make and then put it out. And but it takes time. It's like it takes effort. And if you want to show something really really good, it takes time.
No, I agree. I mean, like I think that's why like I think one time we were like in one of my podcasts we were talking about like how often we do our podcast
Hmm.
because someone I think someone mentioned it, but like no one really mentioned they were doing that. Was like doing a podcast every day, and I was just like, dude, fuck that. Like honestly, like it seems like a lot of work sometimes to just sit down and have a natural flowing conversation with people. And you want me to do that as a job every day with a different person? Like, no, like I can't. Like that's why like recently I've moved to like about once a week at least
Hmm.
because you know it's a refreshing like it's a fun thing for me first of all, and I don't want to make it feel like it's work because now I got booked. Like I think when I was talking to you actually in the very beginning, probably like the very beginning before I started my podcast, you know, you were probably like the fifth person that was like, yeah, I'm down to do it, and I'm like, wait, I fucked up. Like there's already like four people that said yes. Like
Yeah.
let me get my scheduling right, and like hence why it took a while to get you on the show. And but yeah, I realize as far as that's concerned and like spacing shit out, it's definitely nice to do that just so you could release the best possible, I guess, you know, product as you say. You know, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do shit like right off the bat. Like I'd love to if I had a team, sure, but it's just me and my lonesome. I mean, I run my YouTube channel, my Instagram, all my social media platforms, and not that they're hopping either. You know what I mean? Like I don't exactly. I'm still learning as far as all that stuff's concerned. So it's crazy to see people do it on like a magnificent level, like certain YouTubers. Like I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
Oh yeah, I
Like
feel like those YouTubers have their own editors where they're like, here's the content, so here's the footage,
just
make the
release it.
video. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. I mean, I would hope so because if not, they'd go crazy because it's a lot harder than I thought it'd be. But it's definitely fun. Social media has been fun to fuck with and sit down and kind of realize like what we do and how we do it. So it's cool. It's really cool for the most part. So
I agree.
um, so let's talk about this quarantine life, and let's talk about shows or movies that we've been watching. So anyone listening to this right now could give it a watch if they haven't seen it. What have you been watching?
So I haven't left my home since like for a month.
Oh God,
So
hermit status.
besides doing homework and reading, I think the last show I watched or binge watched was Narcos, which is a really good show. I really enjoyed it. My friend kept bugging me to watch it, to watch it, to watch it. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. Started watching it like 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
the first season, and then I was hooked. It's really good, and then the way they stick to like speaking like the language of Spanish, like speaking Spanish, not like an English show. I think it was a really good touch, like to like provide the authenticity of like a demographic or like whatever story they're
Mm-hmm.
telling. And then been watching that. Oh, I finished that, and then I've just been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now they're putting up new episodes. I've been watching Westworld, which is a
Westworld,
magnificent
nice.
show. It's really good.
I need to watch
Uh,
that for sure.
no, yeah, you do. It's really good.
Yeah, I was like, because I know third season has Aaron Paul, and I know they like get out of Westworld or something like that. So
Yeah, it's
so,
a total different scenario that's
mhm.
going on there.
Which makes sense. I mean, like I know Westworld was such a big deal. Like my friend Will was super into it. I just didn't have HBO, so I'll make sure to pick that up for sure.
No, yeah, it's. I would greatly recommend that show. What other shows have you seen? I think that I think that's for I have a lot. I have a long list of shows I want to watch, but I just need time.
Same, man. I mean, I think some of the shows I'm currently watching. Well, I finished watching was Lucifer. That was the show that got canceled by Fox.
Hmm.
Um, Honestly, I understand why they canceled it. Like, if I'm gonna be really honest about it, because the third season, the way it ends, is fucking bullshit. Like, first of all, like they the the third is it the third? I think it's the the third to last episode. Basically, is like the best episode I've seen. But then they give you these random two filler episodes right after,
Hmm.
and you're just kind of like, what the fuck? Are they not gonna acknowledge like any of that shit?
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was just like, well, this is bullshit, right? So then obviously Netflix picked it up with Warner Brothers, and we saw season four, and season four like was legit some of the best storytelling I've seen in a long fucking time. And like it was only 10 episodes because they were doing like lengthy, like season 3 was 26 episodes. I think before that was like 18, and the season 1 was like either 22 or something like that. They're super long, super like kind of draggy, but like you really like Lucifer as a person, or him trying to be a person, that is, because he's obviously the devil, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't say he's necessarily a good guy. Like he's turning into a good guy because that's a huge cliche, but like he's really just trying to find out who he is, and that's what's beautiful about the show. Because I mean, they're also depiction of religion, which I'm not very religious. I'm no longer like a practicing Catholic, but
Hmm.
it was cool to see them depict how religion is and how they kind of see it in their eyes, and it's really cool. I mean, that's actually what caught my interest initially because a lot of the times we're like, well, the devil, he's like, I'm not the one that makes you sin. I just show you your desires, and really like kind of
Yeah.
like telling people like it's your temptations that really make this happen. You make those decisions, and that's what I loved about it because I thought that was true. Because like where I come from, like I was kind of told on a lot of different levels, hey, here's a rule book, you need to follow it. If not, the devil's in you, kind of shit. And like I'm just like no. Like as I grew older, I just kind of took away from that. And but Lucifer is a great show. The way it ends is like heartbreaking, like as far as season 4 is concerned. And I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I kind of need to know what happens next. So season 5 is coming out in May 8th, I believe.
Yeah. Netflix picked it up, right?
Yeah, Netflix and Warner Brothers, and they're doing the last season, which is coming up pretty soon, and I'm super excited for that. Okay, this is the show I mentioned how fucking everyone's gonna look at me weird because me and my wife was looking at me weird, but me and my wife saw Love Is Blind,
Oh,
that reality show on Netflix. I don't know if anyone's seen it.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Okay, so the concept is they get a bunch of these bachelors and bachelorettes, whatever you want to call them, and
Hmm.
they all date each other like in rooms, but they can't see each other. So so they make you basically try to believe that love is blind. Like you'll fall in love with the person and not the way they look. So
Oh,
so the
okay.
way the show kind of goes is like they're dating each other, they start getting into each other, and then they finally decide like in those rooms that they're in love with this person. So they decide to get engaged to this person. So once they get engaged to the person, um, they are able to see them. So then that's when obviously more drama kind of happens, and they show the real life factors of like what the face of reality of love actually faces. Because
Hmm.
all this experiment is like, I think, I want to say 5 weeks or some shit. So like you
Okay.
see how it plays out, and like at the
Yeah.
end you find out who decides to actually get married, excuse me, or not. So obviously I don't know how scripted it is or anything like that, but I thought the concept itself was awesome because I guess it's true. Whether if people fall in love with personality or that it's all about a superficial looks department kind of thing, and it was cool to see it play out. And at some point we were like arguing that like you know, hey, a wedding dress, like she didn't buy that wedding dress. I'm like, no, she didn't. And like we were arguing, and my wife, I was just like, I need to go play a video game and feel like a man. So, because this is just like, nope, not for me. But it's super funny. It's
Yeah,
definitely
that's a very
interesting for
interesting
sure.
premise.
It was super good. We actually have a comment on our chat. It looks like Herbert Gaudio is asking, have we
Oh, it's
seen Constantine?
seafood.
It's only been one season. It got canceled. I think it has a lot of potential. Constantine. I don't think I saw the show. I saw the movie, obviously with Keanu Reeves. Um, but
I saw him like in clips from like I think Legends of Tomorrow, and it looks very interesting. I like the concept, but I haven't seen it.
yeah, I need to check that out, man. Thanks for the for that question, man. I definitely love to sit down and talk about that because or take a look at that because I honestly like the universe as far as where that played out. Like the movie was good, and I know there's rumors supposedly they're going to try and do two with Keanu Reeves.
Hmm.
But I'll definitely take a look. Was that another Fox show? I don't remember.
I Constantine is a DC character. I know that, but I'm not sure if it's Fox or Warner. I
Yeah,
think it's Warner.
yeah, it probably is Warner. Yeah, I need to check that out for sure. What about movies? What are you watching?
So I think last weekend I convinced my parents to watch Parasite. I think Parasite
Oh,
is a
fuck yeah,
magnificent
dude! That movie's amazing.
movie. It's so good.
Fucking amazing. I love that movie.
I watched it with my friend and on theaters, and it was just something else to be watching it. It's like the cinematography, like it was a beautiful movie to just
Oh
like
yeah,
see.
by far.
And the story was like really deep too. It was a great movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Parasite, like, I was actually rooting for that to win Best Picture, for the Oscars. So glad it did. I mean, I was like jumping for joy because I mean, he fucking deserved it, man. That thing was beautiful and a lot of different levels, and the class desegregation kind of thing was just fantastic,
Yeah.
and like what greed does to people, and like God, there's so many fucking themes. That's like a podcast in itself,
Oh
honestly,
yeah,
like
for
to
sure.
talk about because it's such a great movie. I 110%. Did you happen to see Platform?
I did. I
Yes.
Yes. My
Yes.
sister and my mom watched it, and I was in my PC just watching it
Hmm.
from the side. But yeah, it's such an original like premise. It's like the themes are the same. It's just like the way they build like that around that theme. It's really original and a lot of like loose ends. I was talking to it about it with a friend, and yeah, it's like one of those movies you have to watch like 2 times or 3 times to understand because I'm still kind of like not sure how
Hmm.
it ended or like what the little girl means and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so I looked that up too because I actually didn't like the ending, like at first, because I looked it up
Mhm.
because I tried to rewatch like the last bit a little bit just so I could try and understand. Um, and it wasn't until I looked it up, and do you want me to tell you, or you rather dive into yourself?
You can tell me.
So the idea behind, similar to Parasite, about the whole class separation. So
Uh huh.
the idea of her is like the reason she is the message is because she is the the single and like symbolism of innocence. She was healthy, and they thought sending her back up would actually get people to basically understand, like, oh look, like, and also it's like the roots, like our roots and children are the future.
Hmm.
So they're kind of reflecting on that. I mean, mind you, it could kind of get split in a lot of different ways, but when they put it in those terms, I totally get it more, like on like an economical structure of like how we need to take care of our youth to fix our future, because it's really big. Like, and when you really think about on our our economy today, that's the crazy part. Like when I started thinking about shit like that, I was just like, man, that's fucking true on a lot of certain levels where people could just care less, when they have X amount of money. And, not saying everyone's like that, but, it symbolizes like how the middle class, lower class, and are just nothing compared to the upper class and like what we get. So seeing that project kind of play out, like I really enjoyed it. And I didn't like the ending at first, but then I thought about it and I read that little excerpt on it, and I was just like, that's actually really fucking smart. Like
No, yeah, really,
it's so good.
it exposes society in a way, a very original way, and I think that's very like people that write like that or like make movies like that. It's like they need to make more content because you have all these hidden meanings, all these themes, and
Hmm.
it's the kind of stuff that makes you think of like, oh my god, what are we doing to our society or community or like life? And I feel like that's one of like the main reasons film and art like such a good platform to be telling these stories because like they inspire and people are gonna watch them and at the same
Hmm.
time it's very entertaining.
No, 110%. It really caught my attention. I mean, as far as like the little those trailers you don't want to play, but they'll play for you anyway.
Yeah.
Like it caught my attention because me and my wife were looking at it and we're just like, dude, this looks fucking weird. And she's like, this looks like something you'd watch. I'm like, you're not wrong. So we just played that shit, and it was fantastic. So it was really good for sure. No man, good shit. Is there anything else you're watching?
Before all this quarantine stuff, before I came back to Eagle Pass, me and my roommate were watching the Saw movies, the Saw franchise.
Dude, that is surprisingly like one of my favorites, actually, even though people don't like it.
I It was the first time watching the movies because he's been telling it's his favorite franchise,
Hmm.
and he was saying, oh, they're really good. But they're fun movies,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I'll give it a try because I've been wanting to see them because I know the concept. I know it's like all these traps and maybe like a bunch of twists. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll try it. And
Hmm.
I think we've seen the first 4 or 5,
Hmm.
and they're very fun movies. I really like them.
I mean, like, what's cool is like when you get to the end of like the franchise, like everyone says like the quality gets worse, and it's kind of true. I can't 100% agree with that just because I like the story, but
Yeah,
like the concept of what Jigsaw is trying to tell the world is so interesting. Like and where that goes and like what it becomes. It's so good. At least to me, like it always every like movie at the end of it always blew my mind when they kind of explain the whole fucking premise, and I'm just like, oh shit, like that's legit. Like it makes sense. Like the lessons he tried to be, and he tried to be that like that serial killer that taught you something versus
yeah,
actually just killing out of pure enjoyment. And that's what I liked about it. Maybe I thought about it too much growing up, but I fucking enjoyed it. Like,
yeah,
Saw was really fun for sure.
yeah.
Um,
And I feel like the premise could be like start tiring and just to see it in every single movie. So yeah, trying to change it up and coming up with a new concept or a new theme in the same realm in the same like world of the movie. And I feel they're gonna try to do that with that new movie that's coming out that's linked to the franchise.
yeah,
I
so
think it's called no, it's not called Saw. It's
I think
the
it's
Book of
just,
Saw.
I thought it was Jigsaw.
Is it?
Or no, Spiral. No?
Yes,
Yeah,
Spiral.
yeah, Spiral. Yeah. So I think, is that Chris Rock doing
Yeah,
that?
Chris
Yeah.
Rock and Samuel Jackson.
Yeah. So super stoked for that actually, because I didn't mind the new one, but it wasn't great. Like it just wasn't amazing or anything. But
Hmm.
it was just that was one of the movies that like they kind of threw in to just kind of like, haha, like we've tricked you again. Let's make some
Yeah.
extra $30 million or whatever. Like that was kind of it. But definitely the first 8 or 7, whatever the number is, it's definitely a lot better.
No, yeah, and I feel with this new one, it's like I feel like they're gonna have bring in like a new, like fresh kind of concept, but at the same time, like bring back the like those cheesy like lines or like edits and those
Mm.
like cool traps and maybe like that very like iconic like theme.
No, I agree. I mean, like, which one was a really good, like, almost comedic horror movie? Is it Hide and Seek or Ready to Play or fuck? I forgot what it was called. It's with that blonde girl when she goes to like, because she's marrying the guy. And
Oh, Ready or Not.
there you go, Ready or Not.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer,
Oh,
but I know what you're talking about.
it's
Yeah.
surprisingly fantastic. Like I was going in there thinking it was some bullshit movie, like some bullshit like just like a popcorn flick, I guess. And
Hmm.
man, I was actually blown away. It is really well done as far as like what they try to do, and I think they're working on a different project that comes out pretty soon, and I forgot the name because everything got delayed, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
so it's not like it would matter at this moment, but I'll definitely find out because they're definitely a good studio that's making some good stuff for sure.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Sweet man. Well, I don't think we have any more questions on the chat for now, but I think this is a good time to wrap. Unless you got anything else for me.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it for
Sweet.
now. 'Cause I really want to come back.
Oh hell yeah, man! We'll definitely bring you back. This is definitely a special moment, being the first live episode and seeing people on the chat. It's actually a lot funner than I thought it would be. I feel a little
Yeah.
awkward with the camera, to be honest with you, but it just kind of is what it is, and I'll get used to it as I got used to doing regular podcasts. Um, but I want to do a huge shout out to Pedro Castro for being my first guest at the end of this show. Definitely great conversations. Everyone watch Love Is Blind. That is the best show. No, I'm kidding. Definitely watch
Well,
it. It's
everyone
interesting.
watched Parasite.
Yes. Watch Parasite or Snowpiercer. That's also on Netflix, and it's
And
pretty
that's on Hulu.
fantastic. Oh, that's true. It is on Hulu.
Yeah.
I need to get Hulu again so I can watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I feel
Because
like that was a great deal to like putting it in on Hulu because a lot of people wanted to watch it but they couldn't because it's a foreign movie and it wasn't like available in a lot of places.
I think Portrait of a Lady on Fire is on there too. There's a lot of fucking good movies on there. Hulu actually
Yeah.
gets some really good ones at some point in
Like one of
time.
those like indie movies that don't really get like attention and then they put them in the stream service and then like just blow up.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's super crazy. But
Yeah.
I'll pick that up for sure. But again, guys, thank you for tuning in on Shoot the Shit podcast. We will be doing episode 10 very shortly, actually, looking at Monday, with actually an up-and-coming YouTube star named Taj. He talks a lot about The Last of Us, and if anyone knows, I love The Last of Us. I just stopped talking about it because I'm pretty depressed about how many times it's gotten delayed. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's going to be a fantastic game, and that's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm already talking with him now. Really excited. Thank you, everyone that is currently watching and will continue to watch. Hit me up if you guys want to be on the show. Pedro, thank you again for being on here. I will definitely hit you up once I watch your film, and we'll talk more about that as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, man.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. You have a good night.
Good night, guys.